Hello, this is IVEE. It's a small calculator. It uses reverse Polish notation and it can be programmed in fourth programming language. It also has some interesting functions like plotting, arbitrary precision maths. Well, it can calculate in arbitrary base numbers. The author of this project, I'm afraid to pronounce it. I will probably butcher it, but just for the sake of completeness, DT Zookso. Please check out his GitHub. This project, I only made the physical part of it. I had to add a couple of corrections to the code, but that's not significant. So he also has a video with a great demo of all the features of this calculator, the one that I originally saw and decided to build it for myself. I will show a few things. It's a calculator, which means it can perform calculations. For example, we input this number, AB is the position on the stack. It kind of goes up that way. If we want to divide this number by this number, we press Shift and divide. And by the way, it would be interesting to see what it makes out if we try to convert it to base 16. So second shift, that's base, and it says AB7. That's probably this number without the fractional part. It also can be programmed. I did not really explore this part of it very deeply yet, but here is the programming mode, and this is my program. This name could mean anything. It's completely arbitrary. We can edit it, as you can see, the button edit, and what it does, it performs the conversion to degrees and radians, swaps, drops radians, and calls a cosine function. It calculates trigonometric functions in degrees. That's why this program is needed to make a plot. So we exit programming mode. No, I meant something completely different. Let's make a plot. So let's enter some range, for example, -4 to 4, and make a plot. Plot is this blue second shift function here. It runs for a while and makes a plot. It has a lot of interesting functions, but please go and watch the author's demo, because he will make a much better job at describing the functions of this calculator. What I did here was the mechanical part of it, actually. I was really interested in making buttons like this for a very, very long time already. So what happens here, these buttons, they are designed in Blender. The engravings are actually designed in 3D, so they are physically deep. It's pretty hard to see, but it should be visible at some light angles. And they're printed like that by 3D printing services. This is a high resolution print in resin. And then I just filled in the engravings with various paints, water-based paints, because they're very easy to correct when you make mistakes, and it's impossible not to make mistakes while doing this. And then everything is fixed with a transparent varnish, acrylic-based varnish. And same with the PCB. We have deep trench here, which is formed by the copper and the mask. So it can be filled with the same paint, and the paint is thick enough and it stays in there. So this menu, these orange texts, these green texts, they're all painted in the PCB. And this IVEE, label is just plated copper. So this design did not really fully work as expected. I did not account for this. The carrier PCB. I was mostly focused on the dimensions of this bezel of the display. So I kind of forgot that the PCB is there and that there is some considerable thickness behind it. I actually thought a little bit about it. I made these holes here, but they do not really match what is really there, and as it, no, it probably cannot be seen, but the display does not even touch the board, the bottom board itself, because it has stuff on it like the connectors, capacitors, so yeah, it just has to be at this height. So I had to rise everything up, and because of that the buttons could not really be the same height as they were printed, and waiting for a new print is a very long time. So fortunately I had another batch printed just in case. So the second batch is sandwiched between the top side of the buttons and the PCB here, and inside there are dome switches like these, little square domes. They're very soft and at the same time rather clicky, so excellent switch for a calculator. And the names of these are shown in the description. It's impossible to pronounce them. They're something like yeah, so a beautiful little calculator, which I think is very nice to have around. Hopefully I will also add the battery to it. Currently there is no battery, so it's plugged in, but there is a charging module here and a little switch, which I will use when I have a battery, so it can even be carried around. Right, so thank you for watching. Bye.